I'm going to be reviewing a bunch of caramel fragrances in this video here today. I am so excited, and I also know that this will be a very long video, but if you like caramel perfumes, this is a video for you to watch because I have here just about 10 fragrances from a variety of different price points that all feature the note of caramel. So we have a very large variety of fragrances here. We have caramel with floral, we have caramel with more gourmand notes, we have straight up caramel, we have basically everything that you could imagine if you're looking for your next caramel perfume. I am so excited to share this video with you here today. It's going to be a good one. However, if this is your first time watching this channel, hello, my name is Anya. I love perfumes and I talk about them here every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, along with a ton of bonus content in between. So if you're interested, do consider subscribing. So I don't even know where to start. Okay, first up, let's talk about one of my favorite scents in my entire collection, and you can tell because the dent here is denting. This is by Une Nuit Nomade, and it's called Sugar Leather, and I am so excited to feature this fragrance because it's such a perfect perfume for this time of year specifically, but I also, to be honest, wear it the rest of the year too because I love it so much. This is so good. It has notes of leather, obviously, but it also does feature labdanum, amyris, cinnamon, and caramel. So this is a perfume that smells almost like a gourmand fragrance. I do consider this a gourmand perfume personally. This perfume is so smooth, so luxurious, very well done. It's a very soft leather smelling perfume, and I think the labdanum note really helps with that. And it also has a soft caramel going on here, but it's not something that's like too sweet. It's balanced very well, and I love this scent. There's also a hint of cinnamon. I don't really smell as much cinnamon here as I have in other fragrances, and I'm actually very sensitive to the note of cinnamon. Sometimes it can come off as scratchy. Here it doesn't. It's so good. It literally smells like, it smells amazing. It smells cozy, but not too much. It's such a gorgeous fragrance. And I've loved it for so long, and I remember when it came out, people were really nervous about like kind of the leather aspect, and then this perfume kind of went viral, and for very good reason. Generally, I love Une Nuit Nomade. I think they have some of the best fragrances out there, especially for the price. This size you can get for around $100, which is insanely good when you consider that this is a niche brand. And I believe their larger sizes are closer to 150. If you're interested in saving a little bit of money, I do have a code with them, and I will put that down below. And I also have another code where you can get a 25 milliliter travel size with your purchase. So check the description box for those codes. Again, I highly recommend this brand. I love so many of their fragrances, and Sugar Leather is just one of my favorites. And if you're looking for something that's a little bit more unusual, cozy, this is definitely one to try. Okay, so let's talk about something that's even more affordable. I am going to talk to you about Sol de Janeiro Cheirosa 71. I remember when I first started mentioning this fragrance, I would say Cheirosa. And that was obviously not how you pronounce it, but this is Cheirosa 71. It's a body mist, but to be honest, it performs like a perfume. It's so strong, and I have literally almost used my bottle up. This is a fragrance that at some point I was wearing this like almost every single day. And at a few points, this is truly a wonderful fragrance to get if you are literally looking for something that is hyper gourmand caramel. This is straight up caramel with popcorn, macadamia. This is so good. And caramel. It literally is so, it smells amazing. It smells delicious. And now that I'm smelling it, I honestly, this is like the perfect cold weather fragrance if you don't mind smelling super sweet. This is like a super sweet caramel perfume, and I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, but just be warned, if you buy this fragrance, this is a super sweet caramel perfume. It's strong, a little bit goes a long way. You will get compliments on it though, because whenever I have worn this fragrance, people think that there are cookies in the vicinity, basically. People think that there are macadamia cookies floating about, but this smells like macadamia nut cookies with caramel. It smells so good, and it's like a very cozy scent too. I actually don't wear it as much as I used to, but now that I'm smelling it again, with like the cold kind of fall weather coming in, I might actually break this out and start using it again. Because you know when you go through phases, when you wear a lot of a certain fragrance for like a long time, and then you start going for something else. I think I might be coming back to this because that's what happened to me, but I digress. Next, I have a fragrance that's the more elegant version of Chosa 71, and this is actually a fragrance that I've had just for I think over a month now. This is Vanilla Skin by Floral. You might remember this fragrance kind of went a little bit viral. People were getting super obsessed with this fragrance, and I did a review on it, so you can check that out. I'll put it down below or in the cards. This is one of those fragrances that I was kind of skeptical about when I tried it, and I was thinking, okay, what could possibly be so amazing about this fragrance? I do think that there is definitely some like soft caramel touches in here, even though that's not explicitly listed in the scent pyramid. The scent pyramid does include top notes of sugar, pink pepper, and red apple, a mid of cashmere, jasmine, and lily, and then a base of vanilla, benzoin, sandalwood, and agarwood. This perfume smells to me like a soft caramel infused vanilla, and I definitely do get the vanilla touches in here. That's why I've included this in this video. But also, if you really like the idea of Chosa 71, but you might be balking at like the super sweetness of this, this is pretty much like the more elegant, I guess demure. I don't want to say demure, but like, yeah, demure older sister of Chosa 71. So this is kind of like, look at me, everybody, like, this is my time, like, this is me, I've arrived, you know, because people will be able to smell you from like 6 feet away. And this perfume is kind of like gourmand, but not trying to be too overt. I wouldn't say this perfume is that strong, or this body mist is that strong. It's definitely not a heavy hitter in my personal opinion, but if you're looking for a soft vanilla caramel scent, this is a really good option to try, and it's actually, it's so good. It's priced pretty fairly for how much you get. I think it's about $25. I think that's a terrific deal, and I've really been liking it a lot. So Vanilla Skin by Floral. Okay, so next up is a brand that I truly love. I love this brand. I have so many of their fragrances, and they're another one of my favorite brands. This is Theodoros Kalatinas, and they are pretty much known for playing around with gourmand fragrance notes, and the notes or the fragrances that they come out with end up smelling super hyper realistic. So think literally super hyper realistic gourmand perfumes. So if you like that, Theodoros Kalatinas is the brand you should be keeping your eye on. So I have here 2 from them. Yes, that's how much I love this brand. I could not just get away with mentioning one because I couldn't do this video just mentioning one of their fragrances, because 2 of their best caramel fragrances, or I guess like most notable caramel fragrances, are Caramel Oud, which they came out with at the beginning of this year, and Coffee Addict, which I believe was launched a few years ago, but Coffee Addict pretty much put them on the map in my opinion. And I'm going to start off with this fragrance first because I haven't mentioned it in a while. This has notes of vanilla, I believe cacao pod, coffee, and caramel. The caramel here does a great job of like kind of cutting through all of those kind of bitter notes in a way that's like makes this perfume smell like black coffee, still with a little bit like a hint of caramel. So this perfume is not necessarily caramel forward, but caramel here is used as an accent. This is a super heavy hitting perfume. A little bit goes a long way. It'll last you all day. I pretty much think that most of the Theodoros Kalatinas perfumes are like that. They're really long lasting. And yeah, if you're looking for your ultimate coffee scent, but you're not looking for like a watered or milky kind of coffee, but well, how do I say this? You know those coffee fragrances that say they have a note of coffee, but they're kind of like a almost diluted smelling coffee? This is not that. This is intense coffee, but like done in a way that's super hyper realistic with those accents of caramel. I love this perfume. I believe it's like one of my favorite scents of all time, to be honest. And I think I'm going to be saying that about a lot of these fragrances if I'm being honest, but this is definitely that. It's so, so good. Yeah, it smells like a luxurious coffee shop. And okay, my bottle is leaking a little bit. You can see because I've had this perfume for such a long time. But I still love this fragrance. It's so, so good. And one of these bottles will run you like $55 US, which considering the quality is insane. And there are so many fragrances out there that are not even as good as this brand, in my opinion, and they are charging like 3 times the price. But this, I mean, Theodore Calcians have done a great job of staying so affordable, and their quality is never compromised. So, Coffee Addict, iconic. But I also I want to talk to you about Caramel Oud. Now, Caramel Oud is, I think, their first oud fragrance, and let me pull up the notes here so I can tell you what it smells like. This is a perfume that's obviously focused on caramel as one of the hero notes, but it's definitely more complex. This perfume has notes of saffron, toffee, caramel, and oud. It smells delicious. I can smell the saffron, but the saffron here kind of brightens the entire fragrance up. And this smells like sticky caramel with like a hint of oud in the background. The notes that come through the most here are definitely the gourmand notes, like the toffee, the caramel. Um, and this perfume is definitely a heavy hitter. You have to like stronger fragrances to appreciate this one. A little bit does go a long way. I love this perfume. It's amazing, terrific, such a good fragrance. It smells like a fragrance you want to cozy up to, if you know what I mean. Um, yeah, this is like a cuffing season perfume, okay? Should I do like a video on cuffing season perfumes? I should do that. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So spoiler alert, I did end up filming this video and it's already up if you want to check it out on the channel. Cuffing season perfumes. That's gonna be coming. But this is definitely one of them. This is a cuffing season perfume. It's cozy. It's a really good caramel scent. It's caramel but not explicitly caramel. Think caramel but woody. So yeah, if I had to like compare it, right? So like think Chosa 71, but this is like this is like all caramel. This is some like woodier notes accented with caramel and a touch of saffron. So it ends up smelling more complex. Like this is like your more complex caramel fragrance. If you are someone who also really loves deep and dark and boozy scents, this is one to try. So now let's go for something that's a little bit more fun, okay? We touched a little bit on some dark and boozy scents, but this is fun, it's floral. I'm talking about Idole Nectar by Lancome. Honestly, such a good fragrance. Like, this is a terrific perfume. One of my favorite designer fragrances of all time, in fact. It smells amazing. It smells delicious. If you love rose, this is a really good one to try because it specifically has notes of vanilla, rose, popcorn, and caramel. So it ends up smelling like a very womanly, kind of gourmand scent, but it's paired with that iconic Lancome Idole rose. So if you're familiar with the original Lancome Idole, there's that very easy to recognize rose note there. This adds a little bit something new to it with popcorn and caramel, but because the Lancome rose is there, it actually ends up smelling a lot more refined than a lot of gourmand fragrances can. Because let's be honest, I mean, sometimes gourmand fragrances, they're not going to smell like super expensive. Like, for example, I talk about this fragrance so much because this is like the ultimate hyper-realistic caramel scent. But Chosa 71, in my opinion, this is not going to smell expensive. It's just a really delicious perfume, and it does get compliments, but it's not going to smell expensive. It's not a perfume that I'd wear if I wanted to smell luxurious. It's good, it's really, really good, and you will get compliments on it, but it's not like a womanly scent. This is like a more ladylike version of caramel. Like, this is caramel with rose, if that makes any sense. So yes, I do recommend smelling this fragrance if you haven't already, and if you want something that's a little bit more unique and still focus on caramel but paired with florals. This is really good. I love this perfume, and I do have a bit of a dent in it, and that just tells you how much I love it. It's really, really good. And to be honest, this can be worn all year round, but I also think it's a good scent to wear at this time of year. It's not as boozy as some of these other scents. It's a little bit brighter. So it's like a bright, jammy rose with caramel. And it's stunning. This next perfume is another super photorealistic caramel perfume. This is for those of you who love your sticky, sweet caramel scents, but this is more complex than some of the other stickier, sweet caramel scents I have just mentioned. This is specifically a whiff of waffle cone by Imaginary Authors. Now, I have the travel size, and I love to keep it in this kind of like book format that they have, because the way Imaginary Authors does their fragrances is that they pretty much have like a book inspiration with each one of the perfumes. So this one was, I think, done in collaboration with Salt and Straw, I think. It's been a while, so I can't remember, but this is essentially what it looks like, and the fragrance itself is very interesting because it smells, oh my gosh, yeah, it smells like a very intense kind of like melted caramel with salt, right? Which I think is a brilliant combination. It also has waffle cone here. But what's nice about the caramel salt pairing here is that the salt prevents the caramel from being super sweet. This is a very sweet fragrance. There's no debate about it, but I like how they've added the salt here because it kind of balances it out in like a different way. So yeah, this is a salted caramel perfume. I think that there's also, I smell a little bit of vanilla in here as well, but make no mistake, this is still going to be one of those sticky sweet perfumes, but where Churros 71 was more nutty and caramel, this is salted caramel with waffle cone. Speaking of waffle cones, let's talk about a perfume that's literally inspired by gelato. This is Profumo Differente Buon Talenti. This is it right here, and I've talked about this perfume a lot, and this happens to be Profumo Differente's best-selling fragrance. And it's best-selling for a reason. It smells absolutely delicious. If you're a gourmand lover, you should check this out. I was hesitating about including it in this video because this, in my mind, is more of a fragrance for the summertime, for the hotter weather, because it really performs best in a warmer kind of situation, because that's when the sillage is at its best with this fragrance. When it's cold, this fragrance kind of falls flat a little bit. It still smells phenomenal, but it truly does its best in the warmer weather. However, I know many of you also do live in hot climates, so if you're still looking for a delicious caramel fragrance, this is still a good one to try. It's amazing. Let's get into the notes. So we have notes of banana, apricot, peach, and red fruits at the top, a mid of coconut, vanilla, and raspberry, and then a base of toffee, cookie, caramel, and musk. This perfume in the opening, you really get a lot of the sweet fruits, particularly the banana. However, it dries down to a delicious combination of vanilla, a hint of waffle cone. It smells delicious. It's inspired by Buon Talenti, which is an iconic gelato that is native to Florence, I believe, and it truly does that inspiration, or executes that inspiration masterfully. This is such a gorgeous perfume. It's fun. It's super realistic. It's not too cloyingly sweet. It's not too heavy. And I really, really love it. Yeah, I was wearing this perfume a lot during the summertime because it's genuinely one of my favorite summertime fragrances. But again, if you're looking for a perfume that also does really well in the heat, and you might, like right now, be in a warmer climate, this is one to try. It's really, really good, and I believe it's only $120, making it an affordable niche fragrance, and I highly recommend it. Next up is an iconic fragrance. This is Byron's Moola Moola. This smells so luxuriously beautiful. It's amazing. This is a perfume that is very fruity with a hint of caramel. Well, not a hint, it's a touch of caramel. Caramel accents the fruits, and then it has a base of oud and patchouli, making this a fragrance that will last all day. A little bit goes a long way. To give you the notes in more detail, we have top notes of caramel, peach, strawberry, and raspberry, a mid of ginger, pink pepper, and labdanum, and then a base of vanilla, musk, oud, and patchouli. So, like I said, this fragrance to me is predominantly fruity. It does have that caramel, which accents the fruits rather well. And I like the pink pepper and ginger and labdanum in here because it does prevent this perfume from smelling too sweet. And if you can't tell already, I do love my gourmands, but I don't want my gourmands to just be super sweet smelling. I want them to have some complexity to them most of the time. I mean, there are other gourmand perfumes that are pretty linear that I love and I keep in my collection because I like to layer them with other fragrances. But most of the time, I will go for perfumes that have complexity to them. I don't want to smell just one concept in a perfume. I like to switch things up a bit, and that's where Moola comes in with the kind of like fruitiness, the oud, the labdanum. I love this perfume. It's so good. So if you haven't tried it already, you definitely should. They have a bunch of other options. I think they do have a caramel version, like the green one. I forget what it's called, but have I smelled that perfume? I can't remember, but I do know that that is like super, super caramel, but I think I'd actually prefer something like this because it uses caramel as a companion note. It doesn't overtake the fragrance, which I do appreciate. Next are two fragrances that I have in sample form. These are perfumes that I've smelled, and I do want to include them in this video because I highly recommend you try these out as well because they do smell amazing. The first is an icon, Sora Dora's Johnny fragrance. This has notes of baked apple, puff pastry, cinnamon, caramel, vanilla, almond, nutty notes, apricots, peach, white musk, plum, and osmanthus. This does smell like an apple tart with like drizzles of caramel over the top. It's on my full bottle wish list. I really love this perfume, and I also really love Sora Dora as a brand. They do gourmands so elegantly and beautifully. They're a French house, but Johnny is one that I really love, and if you like baked apple, this is definitely one you should try out as well. And then next is a brand that I haven't really spoken about on this channel that much, and I definitely should, because I was going through my samples and I smelled this fragrance and I was quite impressed. This is by Virtus, I can't pronounce this, but it's basically vanilla oud. So this is vanilla oud by Virtus, and this is supposed to be a kind of like a gentler perfume with oud. So this has top notes of apple, bergamot, rhubarb, and saffron, a mid of cashmere, amber, oud, cyclamen, jasmine rose, and violet, and then a base of vanilla, oud, sandalwood, wet vetiver, caramel, tonka bean, gaiac wood, patchouli, cedar wood, and musk. So I did spray this on, and I really do like this perfume because it has some brighter notes at the top, but then the dry down, you get like a very beautiful, soft vanilla caramel. I do like this fragrance. I would like to try it out some more, but I would recommend at least trying this one out, specifically if you're interested in having like that beautiful vanilla caramel combination. I don't smell a lot of oud there, but I do smell like the brightness with that rhubarb and saffron. So I really like this perfume, and I'm excited to try more from this brand potentially. Yeah, I can't believe I haven't really been trying this one out. There are actually a lot of niche fragrance samples that I have that I've just kind of tucked away and I haven't really tried them, and I think I should make kind of like more of an effort to talk more about these samples and kind of like maybe like do like a smell video. Yeah, that would be fun. Like just like smell through some fragrances together. So let me know if you want to see that, but that's pretty much it for this video. Boy, are these some amazing fragrances, and now they're everywhere. I've been filming a lot. I've been filming a lot today, so I have fragrances all over. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. This was a long one. I have been talking for over 30 minutes. which is a long video, so this will be fun to edit. But thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it and found it interesting. Let me know, have you tried any of these caramel perfumes, and are there any caramel fragrances that you would recommend me to try out? I'm excited to hear your thoughts and recommendations. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.